So throughout history, our ability to get certain kinds of food was a real challenge, right? There was these three flavors that existed in history: sweet, salt, and fat, that were incredibly scarce. Think about this. In order to get the flavor sweet, you could create maple syrup, but it takes like 80 gallons of sap boiled down over a couple of days at the perfect temperature to get 1 gallon of maple syrup. You could get honey from the beehive, but what was the cost of getting that honey? Like, these were scarce resources, and they were really incredibly powerful for us to stay alive and to sustain health. Fat was not something that showed up on a lot of small animals, so it wasn't something we could just go get. We had to get larger animals that we either had to domesticate or we had to kill in order to nurture them to get fat. It doesn't occur in nature very often. And then the other scarce resource was salt. Now, then something happened, right? The salt isn't that concentrated in nature unless you have a salt mine or an ocean nearby. Something amazing happened. Around the same time as birth control showing up on the market, which we'll talk about on the sex videos, we had fast food show up on the market. And it was an amazing thing. Oye, ¿puedo pedir un poco de comida? Quiero comer. ¿Se puede? ¿Tú quieres estar en mi... ¿De qué? ¿Quieres estar en la película? Eso es mi amigo. To give a quick shot of him. Oh, él no quiere, ok. No sé, está bien. Pero puedo pedir un pollo, un papa frita y un jugo de naranja. ¿Ya? Y alguien me lo puede prestar. Tú no tienes que estar en la película. No se preocupe. Soy yo nomás hablando. So what happened in nature is that we couldn't get these things regularly. Right? They sustained us during winter, and there were these treats that showed up. And they weren't something that was readily available to us. And then fast food showed up on the market, and we could get them at will. We could get as much sweet and salt and fat as our little taste buds could handle. So what happened for us is that when fast food showed up, prior to the 1950s, even if you wanted sweet, salt, and fat, you had to prepare it at home. And all of a sudden, you could have this craving and this yearning for this food, and then you could just go get it. And look at what happened to us as a race, as a society. In the U.S., over half the people are overweight. And you ask anyone in this country, hey, where would you like to go eat? Everybody says the same thing. They all want to eat at Pico Pollo because it nurtures those flavors of that sweet, salt, and fat. Gracias, amigo. I've been asking this guy to teach me how to speak Chinese forever. He's living the Chinese dream, being on a Caribbean island running a Pico Pollo. I gotta tell you, this is a crazy thing to me. I look at this stuff and I see it there. And I think to myself, I look at it under those lights and I don't even want to eat it. But then once it's on my plate, there's something that like starts grumbling inside me, and I'm like, man, I know I don't want to eat this. I know it's gonna give me a belly bomb. But I gotta have a bite. I gotta have a bite. As human beings, when we understand what's happening with us from an emotional standpoint, from a genetic standpoint, that for thousands and thousands of years, this is the food that sustained us, that kept us alive, the sweet, the salt, the fat, and that we have these kind of taste buds, we can start to align with the natural laws. And my solution, because we crave this stuff, we want it, we see these fries and that ketchup, and we're just like, oh man, I gotta eat it. And it tastes good. It tastes fantastic. We see something sweet, and our body wants it. No, I got this because I don't drink soda anymore. So there's something that's just like fantastic about it. And when we know this, we know the deck is stacked against us in terms of aligning with these natural laws of health. Then we can start to put, I call them barriers in place. If we wait until we're really hungry and we sit down in front of this kind of food, sweet, salt, fat, we're fighting against our own brain. Our brain is gonna want to get its needs met immediately. And so if we want to be able to eat less of this kind of food, my solution is to fill ourselves with food that actually serves us, food that actually does us good, and we can save the rest of this for the hungry, mangy dogs that frequent the Pico Pollo anywhere that you go. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but I just can't end this video and just leave this chicken here just for the dog. So if you'll pardon me. It looks so gross, but it tastes so good. I've created a little cheat guide for you that helps you understand how to align your life with the 7 natural laws of power, and particularly number 2, which is mastering this primal instinct. So if you'd like to get that, just click on the button on this page and you'll get access to that, and you can start to live the 7 natural laws today.